Hi everyone. I've been meaning to make a video like this for months and I'm finally doing it now, which makes me really happy. I don't want to waste your time, so let's just dive right into it. I'm going to start with some essential info that's going to help you kind of understand how to pick the book that you want to read and the book that's going to be useful both in terms of your English and also it's going to be interesting and hard to put down. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about is the following. Please pay special attention to the genre that you're going to pick, that you're going to read, okay? The main genre that you might want to go for is modern memoirs. Just think about it. People speak about the life that surrounds us all right? They use the language that we also need on a daily basis. And probably they also face the same issues that might be relevant to us too, right? Just think of a person that might be of great interest to you and go for it. Buy this book. One more secret, if you want to pick a book that's going to be more kind of level appropriate, okay, you might want to think about the education, all right, of this person. For example, let's take two books by Britney Spears and by Tara Westover. As a little girl, I walked for hours alone in the silent woods behind my house in Louisiana singing songs. Being outside gave me a sense of aliveness and danger. When I was growing up, my mother and father fought constantly. He was an alcoholic. I was usually scared in my home. Outside wasn't necessarily heaven either, but it was my world. Call it heaven or hell, it was mine. And now the book by Tara. I'm standing on the red railway car that sits abandoned next to the barn. The wind soars, whipping my hair across my face and pushing a chill down the open neck of my shirt. The gales are strong this close to the mountain, as if the peak itself is exhaling. Down below, the valley is peaceful, undisturbed. Meanwhile, our farm dances. The heavy conifer trees sway slowly, while the sagebrush and thistles quiver, bowing before every puff and pocket of air. Behind me, a gentle hill slopes upward and stitches itself to the mountain base. If I look up, I can see the dark form of the Indian princess. Okay, I'm not saying that Britney Spears is not educated, okay? I'm just saying that some authors tend to use more academic English just because this is what they do, okay? Singers and actors tend to use simpler English because they use this language mainly for speaking, right? And some other authors like politicians, scientists or teachers, I don't know, they just use more academic English because they usually use this language for their work, right? They write speeches, they give speeches, they teach, they work in science, whatever. So this is the reason. You have to be really careful about the genre and the author that you're choosing. Some examples that I personally love. The first one is going to be The Woman in Me by Britney Spears. I actually have it somewhere here. The English is really easy and you don't have to look up every word that you encounter, okay? Which is, you know, it kind of lets you enjoy the book, which is really important as well. The next book is going to be Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing by Matthew Perry. And one more is going to be Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. On the other hand, books by, let's say, politicians tend to have more academic English, which is actually also good because you might be preparing for an exam, right? And you need a variety of vocabulary and structures that are going to kind of make your language a bit more sophisticated. Some examples which I'd recommend, but which require a more advanced level of English, right? The first one is going to be Spare by Prince Harry. Educated by Tara Westover, and let's say A Promised Land by Barack Obama. One of my absolute favorites in terms of really useful books for learning English is A Street Cat Named Bob. I remember while reading putting down a lot of phrasal verbs as the author used them constantly in the book. And not only phrasal verbs, by the way, also a lot of nice expressions that you can just encounter on a daily basis. Reluctantly, I agreed with her. I couldn't just pick up a cat and take him home with me, even if all the signs pointed to the fact it was homeless. I'd barely moved into this place myself and was still trying to sort out my flat. What if it did belong to the person living in the flat? They weren't going to take too kindly to someone carrying off their pet, were they? Besides, the last thing I needed right now was the extra responsibility of a cat. I was a failed musician and recovering drug addict, living a hand-to-mouth existence in sheltered accommodation. Taking responsibility for myself was hard enough. Well, all right, if you're not into memoirs at all, which is totally fine actually, because I know plenty of people who just don't like this genre, it's totally okay to take some fiction, okay? But some fiction books which probably are more modern and not that deep, but not that shallow either. So that's going to be quite difficult to find some books like this, you might think at least, but I'm going to give you a few examples, no worries here. Now let's have a look at a list of books where you can find some really good English, spoken English. And the first one is going to be the series The Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I personally just love this book. It's basically a novel in cartoons, okay? It has a lot of vocabulary that you're going to encounter on a daily basis. And also it's fun. It's just fun to read. First of all, let me get something straight. Get something straight. An amazing expression. This is a journal and not a diary. I know what it says on the cover, but when my mom went out to buy this thing, I specifically told her to get one that didn't say diary on it. Great. All I need is for some jerk to catch me carrying this book around and get the wrong idea. Now, some more books I'd recommend are Maybe You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Gottlieb. I actually also have it somewhere here. I hope you can see it. Then some books by Bill Bryson, specifically Notes from a Big Country or A Short History of Nearly Everything. Also, if you're more into gossip, because I am, you should definitely buy the books by Imogen Edwards-Jones. Specifically, I would say Hotel Babylon and Air Babylon. They're really good. These books reveal secrets, scandals, behind the scenes reality of different industries. So actually, there are more than 2 books in this series. So if you need to dive into a specific industry, you might also kind of learn some specific jargon, which is, really good, really good. One more life hack. Dive into books by the same writer, because usually they tend to use the same vocabulary over and over again in different books. And this sounds like a perfect life hack for, the students who want to recycle the vocabulary that they have already covered. And last but not least, let's talk about the books and genres that you might want to avoid if your goal is to learn how to speak English, specifically speak English. I know you might be tempted to read Jane Eyre or maybe Pride and Prejudice or even War and Peace, but please don't do that, because the English you're going to find in those books has nothing to do with the modern real English that you might need to have, a real conversation. More than that, it might be actually really challenging to read classics, and you'll just simply lose motivation. We don't want that. Well, that's it, everybody. I hope this video was actually useful and you found some books that you just added to your, bucket list right away. And also I hope this video helped you understand how to pick books, more independently. If you have any questions or recommendations, please leave them in the comment section below this video. And don't forget to subscribe, because it will help my channel a lot. And obviously it will motivate me to post more frequently. That's it. See you next time.